guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a horror film from Israel, spoken in the English language, released in the year 2015, directed by the Paz brothers, Doron and Yoav Paz, and this film is called JeruZalem. So JeruZalem is about two American tourists. They're going to travel from the United States to Tel-Aviv, which is a city in Israel, but when they meet up with a fellow traveller, who is a very good-looking man, one of these best friends is actually attracted to this guy. They want to follow him to Jerusalem. So this is a little bit of a detour, but after Jerusalem, the plan is to go to Tel Aviv. So they get to Jerusalem. This is a very holy city, as we all know. They're going through, they're meeting the locals, they're having a party, they're just doing everything that is what appears to be fun. But what they don't know is that there are three gateways to hell on earth. There's one in the desert, one in the ocean, and one in Jerusalem. And this gateway to hell in Jerusalem has just opened, and the whole city is going to be besieged by demons and all kinds of other nasty things that are going to put these tourists through basically a living nightmare. So as things go from bad to worse, these tourists have to work together in order to try and get out of the city that has now been quarantined by the army. And so whether or not they can achieve this and whether or not they can survive this fight for survival, it's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on JeruZalem. I had massive expectations coming into this film. After seeing the trailer, I was hooked. I thought this was a combination of Cloverfield and Wreck, and I thought that if the promise was delivered on, this would have been a great film, but unfortunately I was bitterly disappointed with JeruZalem, and it came nowhere near the expectations that I had for it. Now to start off with, there are promising signs to this film. Number one, it is a different style of found footage horror. Now a lot of the time in found footage horror films, you're always asking yourself, why are they filming these horrible events? You know, they're running for their life, but they still have the ability to film it all, and so it takes a little bit of realism out of it, and you always think to yourself, just drop the camera and run. But in this case, it doesn't have that excuse. The actual found footage is actually taken from these glasses that this woman is wearing. They're prescription glasses, so she can't take them off, otherwise she wouldn't be able to see where she's going. So that gives you an excuse as to why they're filming it, and so you never ask yourself that question, which is what I liked. I thought there were unrealistic moments. The quality of the camera was a little bit too good, and she could access the internet from anywhere, and so that aspect I thought was very convenient, but just the fact that it was trying something different, I have to applaud. And number two, I really like the city of Jerusalem. This is actually filmed in Jerusalem, which, as we all know, is obviously a very holy city, and I thought it had a lot of interest. It looked beautiful. There were alleyways that I thought were very ancient, and so you just get the feel that you are in a very ancient and very sacred place. So I thought the setting was very good also, and I thought some of the creature designs when the bad things happened were fairly decent. There's a bit of CGI, but I thought it was fairly well done. But unfortunately, they are the only positives to a film that really didn't live up to the promise that it actually had. It actually had a lot of potential, but that potential was never realised and it was never utilised. Now to start off with, it is just another found footage horror film. You've got these very generic characters. They're making very generic decisions when the crap hits the fan. They're making decisions based purely on the continuation of the story, the continuation of the threat. When they could have made a decision to get out of the city, they make decisions based so that the film can go on. And so because of that, you ask yourself that they deserve what they get, and it does take a lot of the suspense and a lot of the threat away. So I really didn't like that. The characters themselves, very paper thin. They're very annoying. The decisions, as I said, that they made them very irritating, very, very stupid. And I like films that don't give the characters an option to get out of here. I like the movies where they put them in a situation where they have to make a run for it. They have to confront these bad things in order to get out. But when you've got characters that have the ability to get out of this predicament, but they don't choose to do that, it does take a lot of the realism away, and you're actually watching a movie for the sole focus of the film, losing all sense of realism to substitute. You're basically just putting these characters in situations that will be scary and make the viewer feel scared. And so they do take those generic sort of storytelling decisions that I really didn't like. I thought the city of Jerusalem really wasn't utilised to its full potential. There are moments where it is kind of interesting, but the problem with Jerusalem is that it has a very slow build-up, and the build-up just seems to go nowhere. It just seems to stop, and 47 minutes it takes until something bad happens, and in that 47 minutes all you're seeing are these women, these irritating tourists, they're partying, they're doing all these superficial things. And the movie hints at what Jerusalem's all about. It does hint about the oncoming dangers, but it never goes into it sufficiently enough for you to take an interest in the first 40 minutes. And because of that, you become bored, you become irritated, and by the stage where the bad things are happening, already it's a little bit too late, and your irritation does prevent yourself from being scared. And so the scary set pieces, some of them worked, but on the majority level, I thought that it lacked tension, it lacked suspense. I just thought it didn't really know how to control those tense moments like Wreck did and like Cloverfield did. Now there are elements that reminded me of Cloverfield, reminded me of Wreck, but that's all it does. It just reminds you. It doesn't actually get full throttle into those, what made those films so good. And so that was a big problem for me. Again, you've got these the ending was very forgettable. It wasn't anything great. It's not enough to save the film. So in the end, what you get is just another very generic found footage horror film. That was, unfortunately, half the film was very boring, and then the last half really can't save it, and it does sink to the bottom, and unfortunately, it just can't make its way back up. So I was bitterly disappointed. I wanted to love Jerusalem, but if I'm being honest, like I am in all my reviews, it is very generic, there is very irritating, and unfortunately it's just not that scary. So the trailer is much better than the movie. As a result of that, I'm not recommending Jerusalem, and I'm going to give it 2 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. So next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.